This video will give an overview of the new map module and explain some relevant privacy and security preferences. Let's go to the map module from the library module. We can either select map from the module picker or just use the keyboard command Option or Alt, Command or Control 3. So in the past, with Lightroom, you could read the GPS location information in the metadata, but you couldn't view the actual location without leaving Lightroom and going to Google Maps. You also couldn't add GPS data to image files that didn't have it. That's all changed here with the map module. Images that have GPS coordinates are automatically placed here on a Google map. Of course, you have to be online to appreciate this feature. You can also simply drag and drop a thumbnail onto a location, and the appropriate GPS and location data will be added automatically to your image file. Once the image is tagged with this information, there are several ways you can search and find specific images taken at specific locations in both the map and the library modules. Bottom line, searching your extensive photo library just got a whole lot easier. So before I get into explaining the various components of the map module, I want to answer an obvious first question. What do these various icons mean? When you first opened the map module, you probably saw the map key. It should appear by default. I've turned it off by selecting View and then deselecting the map key just because I need to be able to see the map more clearly, but let's go ahead and bring that back. So let's just walk through what these icons mean. So starting here with the orange box with the tail, I don't have any showing here, but that would specifically mean a photo that's not selected down here in the film strip that's on the map. The next one is the yellow box with a little bit of a tail, and that's the selected photo. And you can see down here, as I hold my cursor over the thumbnail in the film strip, it's bouncing up and down, signifying, yes, that's me, you selected me. Okay, so then the next icon is the orange box with the number, and you can see, again, pay attention to this little tail coming down because that differentiates it from the other orange box. It doesn't have the tail, but you can see I have several of these. This is signifying images that were taken at the exact same location. So there are 4 images taken at this location, and as I hold my cursor over that icon, you can see I can actually view the images without having to go down to the film strip and selecting them. And then the next choice down here is the orange box with a number in it. So what that signifies are images that are taken in close proximity to each other. They're not all taken in the same location, exact same location, but they're all in the same vicinity. And then the final icon down here on the bottom, this yellow box with a dot in the middle and then the little tail on the bottom, that's going to give me the result of a search. And let me show you what that means because this is actually very useful. So let's go ahead and I'm going to type in, it doesn't matter, I'm going to pick a city that comes to mind, Oslo. So it's going to bring me now to Oslo, Norway. So you can see there's the little black dot. This is not related to any of my images. This is just saying that this is where you wanted to go. So here we have the location that I've searched for, signified by this yellow icon with a dot in the middle. This is not related to any of my photographs. This is just the result of my search. So watch this. This is really cool. If I come down here and select an image in the film strip, or multiple images, and then I come back up to this icon and right-click on it, and then I select Add GPS Coordinates to the selected photo or photos, it'll automatically now tag this image with that information. You can see over here on the right, it's given it the sublocation and the GPS coordinates. That's another way of tagging images that haven't been tagged by searching and then tagging directly from the map module. Okay, since this image wasn't taken in Oslo, I'm just going to go ahead and use Command or Control Z and remove that GPS coordinate. And I'm also going to get rid of that search criteria there, and you can see the results disappear as well. So I'm going to close this map key overlay. I can do that by selecting the X here. And I'm going to walk you through the various components of the map module. So let me go ahead before I do that and just zoom back, get the whole world in front of us, or almost the whole world. And let's start over here on the left side, in the left panel, with the navigator. And the navigator at first may not seem so useful, especially when you look at it now, there's no controls. But watch what happens as I zoom in down here with the zoom tool at the bottom. You can see this little square box now appears. So I can just click and drag, and you can see by moving this box around, I can move my location around, and then when I release the mouse, it will then reflect my choice in the navigator window over here in the main window. Below the navigator, saved locations. This is a way of creating a preset that will take you to a specific location that you define. And then underneath save locations is collection. So we can go to various collections directly here from the left panel now. So moving up here to the top of the window, we have the location filter. And this just gives us various filtering methods from within the map module itself, as well as the search map field that we've used earlier to get into a very precise location on the map, not based on any of our images GPS data, but just taking us to a location on the map. And over on the right, we have the metadata pane. Now this is going to be the same metadata pane that you see over in the library module, but you notice here that it's only showing the location metadata, which is what's relevant here. And at the bottom in the toolbar, we have various components here. Let's walk through them. As far as the map style goes, we have several choices here between hybrid, which I'm showing you now, and which is my favorite view, and then road map, and satellite, and then terrain, and then light and dark. And light and dark are just light and dark version of the road map. I'm going to go back up to the hybrid view. I like this view. It takes a little more bandwidth. It's a combination of the road map and the satellite, but I find that to be the most useful view. So then moving to the right, we have the zoom bar. We can zoom out or in. We've seen how that works. That's pretty straightforward. And then to the right of that is the lock marker. If we want to lock a location so that it can't inadvertently move, we just select the image and then select the lock icon. To the right of the lock markers is the track log sync control. And over here to the right, we can just control which one of these controls will show up in the toolbar. In this case, I have all four of them selected. So at the bottom is the familiar tool strip, and this is where we can make our selections and view what images are showing up on the map. So let me show you now some navigation tips. I'm going to go ahead and zoom completely out, and we have most of the world showing here. How do I get into a particular location? By using the zoom slider, it's really not very precise. I can move in, and then I can click and drag on the map as I'm doing here to get to a location. I can also come over here to the navigator window and move around this way to get to a location. Another way to get to a specific location and zoom in at the same time is hold my cursor over it and right click and then select zoom in, and that'll bring me in eventually to where I want to be. I'll just keep doing that. There's another way you can control the zooming in and out. That's by holding the command or control and then plus, as I'm doing now, or command or control minus. If I double click on a thumbnail, a selected thumbnail, that's another way of zooming in to a particular image by just double clicking on the image itself. Okay, now I want to talk a little bit about reverse geocoding. Let me go ahead and find an image to explain what I mean by that. I'm going to go ahead and let me zoom back out a little bit more. Maybe find an image here. I'm going to right click, zoom in. I also could double click on the image there And I want to get even closer. Let's zoom in and find, there's an image there. Okay, now look over to the right in the metadata pane. This image here was taken sublocation, Lend, city Graz, and then the state and the country. You can see all these fields have been filled in. Well, I didn't do that. I didn't type any of this information in. The only information that came from me or came from my iPhone were the GPS coordinates. Google Maps filled in the rest. Now, Google Maps is doing this because there's a two-way street between Lightroom and Google. And at the very beginning, when I started up Lightroom, I agreed to go ahead and allow for this communication. Because I agreed to this relationship at the very beginning, Google Maps communicates with Lightroom and fills in these fields. Now, if I want to come in and type in, let's say, a more precise sublocation, downtown Graz, I can do that. And now watch what happens. I'm going to hit the Tab key, and it goes from that kind of grayed out type to white. And that's telling me that now this is a user-generated sublocation as opposed to a Google Maps generated location. So what if you don't want this relationship between Google Maps and Lightroom? At the very beginning, you could have declined, or let's just say you accepted that relationship and now you changed your mind and you really don't want Lightroom communicating in this two-way street with Google Maps. So what we need to do is go into the Lightroom preferences, actually the catalog settings, as I'm doing here, under metadata. So right here, under reverse geocoding, you can see I have this checked, and this is enabling the reverse geocoding that I was talking about. If you deselect that and restart Lightroom, the next time you bring in images that have the GPS information, then none of these sublocations, city, state, province, country, and none of those fields will be filled in by Google Maps. You can fill them in yourself, of course. Now, for even more privacy or security reasons, you can also deselect this option here, export reverse geocoding suggestions whenever address fields are empty. So this is just a way of kind of controlling how Lightroom is communicating with Google Maps. So in short, if you want this location information added automatically, leave reverse geocoding on. If you're concerned about privacy, security, or if you want to add the information yourself, turn it off. So that's a brief overview of Lightroom 4's new map module.